I loved this. I thought there were so many things that were like really cinematic, and honestly, this could have been a movie. As a matter of fact, I kind of wish that they didn't do this episode and that they had just made a movie. You know, we've got the Rick Grimes movies coming. I would have really liked a Negan movie, a Negan origin story, and really tell us the story of who Negan was and how he lost Lucille, how he turned into the man that he became, how he formed the Saviors, and, you know, bring him up to the point where our characters meet him, or even bring him to present day just as they did by telling it in as flashback. But and obviously we have the COVID restrictions at play here as well. But it did feel like there was a lot missing. I was expecting more of the Saviors. I was expecting I was spoiled on the fact that Dwight wasn't, you know, the actor who plays Dwight. Like, we weren't going to see Dwight. But I thought that we would see how Laura, I think is her name, became a part of the Saviors. I expected to see more origin story for the Saviors, and we didn't. And also, once again, they'll never stop doing it, and I'll never stop complaining about it. It is the fatal flaw of The Walking Dead. Stop jumping around the timeline. Tell a linear story. I think all of this would have hit better if they had just opened it with that shot of we saw kids playing baseball or something like that, or kids on a playground or something like that. Open it, show us Negan, the gym coach or whatever. Like, I swear people had joked that that's what he did before the apocalypse, but I didn't know that that was canon. I'm assuming that's in the comics, so I thought it was kind of a joke. But it would have been kind of nice to see him coaching and to spend a little bit, you know, more time and just go through that in a linear story. Like, just show us them arguing, her cancer diagnosis, show us the fall. You know, I don't think that the story benefited from jumping around, and in fact I think it hurt it a little bit. I wasn't confused like I was with 1018, where I was just actually like confused about what was happening and like what time period we were in and everything and how we got from one place to another emotionally in 1018. That was just a train wreck of an episode of this. No, like, I followed everything. I just think it's unnecessary flair. We don't need to do this. And The Walking Dead insists on doing it all the time, and it makes me want to scream. Was it terrible? No. This was the best they've ever done that, but I still just think it's not necessary. And I think it wastes a lot of time when they do that. I really love Negan and Carol. Like I said in the reaction, I kind of ship it. They're equals. They have so much in common. As much as I love Carol and Ezekiel, because I think, you know, Ezekiel brings out the best in Carol, and I think she needed that. She needed him. I mean, talk about power couples. Oh my God, Carol and Negan. That is a power couple. Holy shit. So yeah, I'm into it. But like, I thought that was great that she took him out there because she didn't want his death on her conscience. Perfect. And a unilateral decision. It's just like Carol, it's right on brand. So I liked all of that. And it actually made use of Leah's cabin. So I'm pretty sure that was Leah's cabin. So, you know, I guess 1018 did one good thing. It really could have just been any random cabin, right? But so I loved that. And then the idea of his alter ego kind of like sitting in the chair and like taunting him is perfect. Like the part of yourself that says bad things, the part of yourself that we all have that says terrible things, that you're not worthy, or you're going to fail, or that sort of thing. And so I really liked that. And I loved all the stuff that, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I liked everything that we got. I just wish that we had a little bit more, and that it was told in a linear fashion. This really should have been like a 90-minute episode. I mean, I could have done with 2 hours of this. Again, I wanted more saviors. But yeah, and I was worried that the casting of JDM's real wife was like COVID casting, because I have never seen this actress in anything, so I didn't know if she was, any good. And so I was worried that it was COVID casting, like, well, he would need to quarantine, or they would need to quarantine separately and that kind of thing. But actually, it was beautiful. Like, they had a lot of chemistry, and you felt the real emotion there. I think it's really interesting that Negan wasn't just like a good person, and then the apocalypse happened and he became a bad person, and now he's finding his way back to being a good person. Like, what does that even mean in the zombie apocalypse? Like every single character, all of the people that we love, have all murdered people in cold blood, right? Like, I mean, they took out that satellite tower, the Savior satellite base or whatever in season 6. Like, everybody, like, these people are all murderers. They're all, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is a good person in the apocalypse? So, but it would be so easy to tell the story of like, oh, Negan was like the perfect husband and everything was great, and then the apocalypse happened and then he became evil, but now he's good again, or he's becoming good again, finding his way back to that. It would have been so easy to tell that, and instead they're doing something much more interesting, like, he wasn't a great husband. And their marriage felt real, like, but then he stepped up when she got her cancer diagnosis, and that was all just like really beautiful. One thing that I thought was a little weak, though, was why Lucille killed herself. We didn't get any indication. I would have liked it if she had expressed like feeling sick, like she'd been sicker lately, the treatments weren't working, or something. So because I didn't have any indication of whether or not the treatments are working. Maybe she didn't need the last 2 treatments, or do you know what I mean? Like, I think that was Negan gone too long to the point where she thought he was dead, and so she couldn't have, because she left that note, please don't leave me like this, with a heart that was clearly meant for Negan. So why she would kill herself at that point doesn't really make sense to me. But the scene was, it was so tragic. It was so horrific to see somebody you love like that. And Hillary, oh my God. Oh my God. She was so fantastic as a walker. Like, damn. That was great. That was a great performance. And, you could really feel the pain. Like, I actually think that JDM is probably the best actor on the show. I usually say that Melissa is. I think they're pretty close. But, JDM was not able to show a lot of range. So that's why I said earlier that this version of Big Bad Negan was better, because the Negan from season 7 and 8 was really a one-trick pony, really one-dimensional. I didn't like Negan. I was not a fan. I'm more of a fan of Negan, like, retroactively, like, what Negan represents. I'm more of a fan of Negan now that he has all these layers and he has all this depth. But I never thought that JDM was able to, show us any range in season 7 and 8. He kind of came in and did his Negan thing, and it was the same thing over and over and over again. And now in seasons 9 and 10, he's shown tremendous range. But the amount of range, oh, sorry, it's a little loud. The sprinklers turned on outside so you can hear the water. But yeah, the amount of range that he was able to convey in the single episode was really incredible. It was just an incredible performance. And that entrance, like, so much was like really cinematic. That entrance when he goes back to that bar or whatever, and he like busts the windows and everything. I mean, even the way that it was shot like handheld, but it looked like it was shot like in high speed. So it just had that slickness to it. Gorgeous. Like I said, this really, I'm disappointed that this wasn't a movie. I want to go and see a 2-hour version of this in my theater. That's what I want. So I really love where we've landed with Negan. I love that he burned the bat. It was necessary. It was very symbolic. But I wish that he would talk to Maggie. I don't expect her to forgive him. In fact, I would expect her to punch him in the face or kick him in the nuts or something. But to make an effort to say, I can't, whatever, I can't apologize for what I did because that's hollow. But I'm a different person, and, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you say, but I wish that they would have a conversation, because they have not spoken, and it's been good up to this point. I thought that was a good choice up until this point, but I wish that at the end of this episode that he had walked up to her and spoken to her. And I didn't like the smirk at the end when she's like glaring at him and he kind of smirks at her, because it feels antagonistic, and I don't want him to be antagonistic toward Maggie. So I wish that we could just arrive at a place where he truly is sorry, but the past is the past, and that was 10 years ago. Well, not 10 years ago, but in Showtime, 7, 8 years ago in Showtime. I don't even know. But it was a long time ago, and, everybody's done terrible things. It's just they don't normally have to live with the people who they did terrible things to. This is kind of a unique situation. But anyway, and I really liked, too, that he went back and was kind of like, no, this is my community. I'm going to try to, to stick it out. And I think he really does want to be a productive member of that community. So, and I love Carol. She's like, well, your death isn't on my conscience anymore. I fucking love her. She's so goddamn ruthless. Oh my God. Carol. I aspire to be Carol. Maybe without all the murdering, but, she's so amazing. So anyway, yeah. Fantastic episode. A few things that I think they could have done a little bit better, but I mean, am I really complaining? No. I'm not really complaining. It was fantastic. So definitely the best of the bonus episodes by far. Just real quickly, I think this is the best one. So 22, I would go 22, 19, I thought 19 was great. 22, 19, 17, 21, 20 and 18. Really didn't like 18. in case you couldn't tell. Anyway, so yeah. And honestly, like, I appreciate what they're doing with the bonus episodes, what they're trying to do, but I think that we didn't need them. I am glad we have this. This could have just been like a 2-hour special. Maybe they didn't want to get a bunch, you know, like the whole crew together just to film one episode. I could see taking episode 17 and 19, putting those together as an A plot and a B plot would have made a fantastic episode, I think. You could even throw a little bit of episode 20 in there. I would have liked for episode 20 that we saw, instead of just being so heavily in Princess's POV, that we actually saw everybody being interviewed by these new people. So I think that maybe if we had the A plot being like Maggie returning to Alexandria and kind of getting some backstory on what she's been up to. The B plot is maybe Aaron and Gabe on a supply run trying to get food. And then the C plot is Ezekiel and Eugene's group being, held captive, but like, we know that they're being held captive, but basically we're just focusing on the interview, the interviewing, and we're watching those interviews, and I think that would have made a really great episode, and everything else was, just not really necessary. So, but why would you get the whole band back together to do 2 episodes, right? So, I don't know. I guess they did the best that they could do, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this wasn't like a 90-minute episode. I'm so excited about season 11, although also every time I think about it, I kind of want to cry too. So I have a lot of feelings. It's just, I can't believe that we're almost done. I've been watching The Walking Dead since 2011. Besides that 2.5-year break that I took. But it's hard to imagine the show not being on the air. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna need like some time to really process it once it's over. I'm gonna need like some grief counseling or something. It's just, I'm really sad that it's over, especially since it just got good again, just got good again. But I like that it's going out on a high note, and I hope that season 11 is amazing. I'm nervous about season 11 because I'm afraid, what if it sucks? I don't think it will, but I'm a little afraid because I want it to go out on a high note. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.